Hi, last chapter of Superfudge. I hope you listened to yesterday's story. Then you'll know that Fudge and Daniel have gone missing. So if you didn't listen to yesterday, Thursday, turn this one off and go down, scroll down and listen to yesterday's first. Okay, so Fudge and Daniel have gone missing. Here we go. A few minutes later, Mrs. Mannheim pulled up in a red sports car. She was wearing cut-offs, like cut-off jeans, and a t-shirt and sneakers with toes cut out. Her hair was in one long plait that hung down her back. "We think they might have gone to the lake," Dad told her. "The lake?" Mrs. Mannheim said. "My God, Daniel can't swim." "Well, neither can Fudge," Mom said. "Well, yeah, he can," I told her. "He can doggy paddle." "Peter, please." "Anyway, why would they go swimming in the lake?" I asked. It's too gloopy for swimming." "Peter, please," Dad said. "Please what?" I finally asked. "Please be quiet. We're thinking." "Let's not waste any more time," Mrs. Mannheim said. "The sooner we start looking for them, the sooner we find them." "Warren," Mom said, "you go with Mrs. Mannheim. I'll stay here with Peter, just in case they try to phone us." When they had left, Mom asked me to bring Tootsie inside. She was still sound asleep in the lounge chair. I picked her up and carried her into the house. She opened her eyes, and when she saw it was me, she smiled and said, "Yuck." At 5, the phone rang. This is it, I thought. It's all over. They found him, splattered across the road, his bike a mangled mess. Or maybe the Princeton crew has found him. They've dragged him out of the lake, and his face is blue and swollen. I felt a lump in my throat. Oh, if only I'd let him come on the picnic with me. None of this would have happened. If only I hadn't wanted to kill him when he woke me this morning. Oh, now it was too late. I pictured the funeral. Fudge and Daniel side by side in small white coffins. "Peter, would you get the phone?" Mom said. I picked up the receiver. "Hello?" I almost couldn't get the words out. How was I going to tell Mom if it was bad news? "Hi, Peter!" "Fudge, where are you?" "Guess." The train station." "Nope." The bus station?" "Nope." The police station?" "Nope. Do you give up?" "Yeah. Where are you?" "At Sandy's Bakery." "What?" "Sandy's Bakery." "What, down by the highway?" "Yeah." "You rode all the way to the highway?" "It was easy." "Is Daniel with you?" "Yes." Mom grabbed the phone out of my hand. "Fudgy, my angel, I'm so glad you're all right. We've been so worried. Now don't move. Not an inch. We'll be right down to get you." We jumped into the car. I arranged Tootsie in her car seat and we took off. We found Dad and Mrs. Mannheim driving around by the lake, told them the good news, and they followed us all the way to the highway. Fudge and Daniel were standing outside the bakery. They looked very small. Fudge was holding a paper bag with Sandy's printed on it. Mum parked, jumped out of the car and hugged Fudgy. "I'm so glad to see you." I felt another, different kind of lump in my throat this time. "Be careful, Mommy," Fudge said. "You'll squash your brownies." When we got back to our house, Fudge settled into Mom's favorite chair and said, "We went to the deli next to Sandy's for lunch. We shared a pastrami sandwich." "We had 3 pickles," Daniel added, relaxing in Dad's chair. "And a cream soda." Mom, Dad, and Mrs. Mannheim sat in a row on the sofa, facing the runaways. "You know what you did today was wrong," Mom said. "It was inconsiderate and foolish," Dad said. "Not to mention dangerous," Mom added. "And stupid," I said. "And while we're very glad to see you," Mrs. Mannheim said, "we're also very angry." "Very," Mom said. "And you'll have to be punished," Dad said. Fudge and Daniel looked at each other. "What do you suggest?" Dad asked them. Put us to bed at 8 o'clock tonight, Fudge said. That doesn't seem appropriate, Mom said. 7 o'clock, Daniel asked, yawning. Yes, Mrs. Mannheim told him, because you're tired, but that's not a suitable punishment. Why don't you take away their bicycles for a month? I suggested, expecting everyone to shout, Peter, please. But suddenly the room was very quiet. No! Fudge shouted. Not fair! Daniel hollered. Mom, Dad, and Mrs. Mannheim exchanged looks. I think that makes a lot of sense, Dad finally said. I think so too, Mrs. Mannheim said. I agree, Mom said. I couldn't believe it. They'd finally taken me seriously. But how will we get to school? Fudge asked, pouting. You'll walk, Mom told him, the way you did before you had bicycles. But Mommy, Fudge began, if you love me... It's because we love you, Mom said. It's because we all love you and care about you. Fudge stood up and stomped his feet. I'm sorry I bought you any brownies. Dad took their bicycles, chained them together, and set them on a shelf in the garage. I hope you both learn that you can't run away every time something happens that you don't like. Running away doesn't solve anything, Mom said. We had a good time, Daniel said, so hunt. And a good lunch, Fudge said. And we showed you we are old enough to ride to the lake, so there. Oh, no, you didn't, Dad said. You showed us you aren't ready for the privilege of riding your bicycles. Daniel and Fudge looked at each other again. And this time, they both started crying. We ordered a pizza for supper. Daniel stopped crying long enough to remind Mom, I don't eat anything but peas or onions. How could I forget? Mom said. After Daniel and Mrs. Mannheim had gone home, Mom put her new CD on the stereo and we sat around the living room table working on our family picture puzzle. I get that jigsaw. It's a mountain scene at sunset, and so far we've only got one corner of it put together. Pete, I ran away one time, Fudge said, chewing on a piece of puzzle. I took it away from him and said, I thought about running away, but I never went through with it. I found a matching piece and snapped it into place. And Daddy ran away when he didn't want to work anymore, Fudge said, stacking up the orange pieces. What are you talking about? Dad said. Well, that's why we moved to Princeton, isn't it? Fudge said. No, of course not, Dad told him. Whatever gave you that idea? I figured it out myself, Fudge said. Well, it's just not true, Dad said. Then why did we come to Princeton? Fudge asked. For a change, Dad explained. Yeah, well, that's why I went to the lake, Fudge said, for a change. Well, speaking of Princeton and changes, Mom said, polishing off her third brownie, Millie and George will be back soon, and we have to decide what to do. Oh, what do you mean? I said. Well, either we have to find another house here, or we have to get ready to move back to the city. What, you mean we have a choice? I asked. I always thought we were living in Princeton for the year, and that was it. Tootsie toddled over, reached up and grabbed a handful of sunset pieces and ran away with them. Hey, come back here with those, I said, chasing her across the room. I handed her a rubber mouse, and she dropped the puzzle pieces. Well, I'm not crazy about the idea of commuting, Dad said, but if the rest of you really want to stay in Princeton, then I'll do it. Commuting? I asked. Well, yeah, Dad said. You see, I'm going back to work at the agency. No more writing? I asked. Well, for now, Dad said. I've found out I'm not very good at it. I may never finish my book. I knew he wouldn't, but I didn't say so. I am very good at advertising, though, Dad continued, and I'm anxious to get back to work. He looked at me. But that doesn't mean I want to be president of the agency, Peter. I know, I said. Well, what about you, Mom? What are you going to do? Well, with Daddy going back to work at the agency, I'd really like to get started on my art history classes. Maybe at NYU. That's New York University. That's in the city, though, isn't it? Well, yes, Mom said, in Greenwich Village. So you both want to go back to the city? I asked. They held hands, and Mom said, I guess we do. Well, what about you, Peter? Dad said. What do you want to do? I don't know, I said. I'm used to it here, but I still miss New York. I don't remember New York, Fudge said. Of course you do, I told him. No, I don't, he said. Can I ride my bike there? In some places, I said, like Central Park. I remember Central Park, Fudge said. And you remember our apartment? I told him, you know, the elevator and Henry. Oh, that's right. I forgot about Henry and the elevator. Mom and Dad laughed. What about you, Tootsie? Fudge said. Where do you want to live? Princeton or New York? Yuck, Tootsie said. Did you hear that? Fudge asked. Yuck, Tootsie said again. Mom and Dad exchanged surprised looks. That's Tootsie's first word, Fudge said. She wants to live in New York, too. New York, Tootsie said. I realized that I was the only one who knew that Tootsie had been saying yuck all day. But I wasn't about to tell them that it had nothing to do with the city. That makes it unanimous, Fudge said. What a big word, Mom said. Oh, I know a lot of big words, Fudge told her. You'd be surprised at how many big words I know. Yeah, Fudgy, Mom said. You're just full of surprises. So, we're going back, I thought. Back to the Big Apple. Back to our apartment. Back to Jimmy Fargo and Sheila Tubman and my rock in the park. Back to Walking Turtle and back to the Pooper Scooper. But it's worth it. It's all worth it. I picked up Tootsie and swung her around. I couldn't help laughing. Tootsie laughed too. To some people, there's no place like New York. And I guess I'm one of them. Oh, there you go. That's the end of Superfudge. So that was the first two. I'm looking to see if I got the other one here. Oh, must be in the other room. There's another 2 books that come after it as well. So you've heard 2 out of the 4. Well, thank you for joining me. I'm not going to be reading another chapter book now. Got 3 more weeks left of term, but I'm going to be in school for most of it. So I might occasionally do some single one-off stories, some shorter stories. But thank you for listening to those. And if you didn't hear me read Blob, then just scroll back through the YouTube videos on Little Mead channel. And I read Blob by David Walliams. What else did I read? Oh, The Twits by Roald Dahl. You have to scroll all the way back to April for that one. And if you liked Superfudge and haven't heard the one that came before Tootsie was born, then scroll back down. You'll find that one. I hope you're doing some reading as well, not just listening, but also reading yourself as much as you can. Take care. Bye.